Hello, my name is Colby, Sharp, 5th grade teacher in Michigan. Welcome to my channel where we try to help kids fall in love with reading. My kids just left and I'm on Thanksgiving break. I think that Labor Day to Thanksgiving part of the school year is the longest part of the school year. And we did it, we made it, and we did some awesome things this year. I'm so proud of my 5th graders. They are amazing. We spent a lot of time today making Thanksgiving break reading plans. And I shared with them my stack, which is what I'm going to be sharing with you today. And then they made some awesome stacks. I'll maybe put some picture, I'll move over here. I'll put some pictures of their reading stacks over here. And we had some great conversations about why it's important that we read, continue reading, why reading is not just a school thing, how reading is who we are, how that's part of just what makes us awesome is that we just love to read and share stories. And we're so into our books, why would we want to stop for a bunch of days? So great conversations. They all left with a whole bunch of books. It was really magical. I loved hearing them talk to each other and recommend books to each other. It was really special, and my heart was very large, and I was happy. So I'm gonna share with you, and I'll put these books down in the description, like the titles of these, so if you want to look back and refer to them later. The first one is Betsy Bird and David Small's Long Road to the Circus. I listened to the Yarn podcast, and I'll put the link to that episode down in the description, where Travis talks with Betsy about this book, and it was so fascinating and interesting to hear the origins of this story, how it started as a picture book, eventually it became a novel, how Betsy and David worked together on some things. It was just really super interesting and fascinating. So I started reading. I'm loving it. I'm on page 80. Super fascinating, super interesting. Historical fiction, takes place in a small Michigan town, like 1920-ish. Digging it. So good. Long Road to the Circus. I'm really, really, really loving it. And David Small's illustrations are to die for. Check this out. Check your faces. Long Road to the Circus, that's one. Next up, this is actually a quick graphic novel. I've been meaning to read it for a while. It's called Cranky Chicken. It looks so funny. I read the first few pages to my students, and they were like seriously laughing so loud, out loud. So Cranky Chicken looked like a fun one, and I just keep forgetting to read it. So I'm gonna make sure it's in my bag, in my stack, going home. Cranky Chicken, super funny. Really funny. All right, next up, John chose Troublemaker. This is a book that comes out in March of 2022 from Little Brown. You might know John. I think he does movies and television and things. City on Edge, Boy on a Mission, Troublemaker. I was telling my students, this book takes place during the 1992, right? Los Angeles riots after the beating of Rodney King. I think it's 1992. And I was telling my students, this is like the first thing that I remember, like those riots were one of the first things on the news that I remember from my childhood. And I just remember watching and being curious and confused and not understanding things. And I live in this teeny tiny town. I had no idea what was going on in the world. So I am excited to read this and to just see what it was like from a kid's perspective. And one of my kids is like, Mr. Sharp, when do you think they're going to have, when do you think they're going to write I survived COVID-19? And I'm like, that's fascinating to think about. So they're probably going through the earliest moment of that they will remember as grown-ups. That wasn't a very good sentence, but you know what I meant, I'm sure. So I'm really excited to read Troublemaker, and it's not super long. It's like 210 pages. I love those 200 or so page books. So looking forward to reading this, really curious to see what it's like. Sounds great. Two more. Ernesto's new book, Fallen Short. I read his last one, I think it was last one, Ephron Divided, and I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. And so I really wanted to read this one because I don't know about you, but and all of these things that I'm telling you, like why I read it, were me planting seeds for my students to think about their to-read list. So I'm like, I love this author. I loved his last book. I'm so excited to read this new one. And I also love realistic fiction. So it's just like all these things that I love. And then I saw kids, like I saw the girl who today finished Gordon Corman's Unteachables. She went and got another Gordon. She got Slacker today. So I saw her and I was asking her about it. She's like, yeah, I just finished Unteachables. So I went over here. It's just right over here somewhere to the Gordon Corman section basket. And I got another one of his books. I'm like, yes, go student. Yes. I love this stuff we talk about works. And the last book that I might read this one next after I finish Betsy's book, Long Road to the Circus. Riley's Ghost by John David Anderson. John David Anderson wrote Miss Bixby's Last Day. He's written all kinds of books. He wrote the one book, I can't remember the name of it, where the kid falls in love with miniature golf, or like does miniature golf. I can't remember the name of that book. Anyways, and he's got a fantasy book, and I was like, I don't love fantasy, but I love the author. So maybe the author that I love when he writes realistic fiction, maybe I will love his fantasy book. I don't know. And it's Ghosts. So I had like kids who are like super, they just saw the cover and they heard me kind of rambling on like I'm doing now about it. And they're like, oh, I have to read it, I have to read that. And I said, I'll try to read it before break is over. And then I will give it to you. Actually, the girl who's like sits right where I'm filming this video, she really wants to read this book. So I'm so excited. So those are the books that I am hoping to read over Thanksgiving break. I won't read all of them. The chances are that a book from home might find its way into the pile. And we talked about that as well. Whew. All right, I'm gonna go enjoy break. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know down in the comments what books you're reading right now, whenever it is that you're watching this video. I'm dying to know. So many great books. So many great books. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Colby Sharp. I hope you have an awesome, tastic day.